the Zimbabwe National Road Administration says only about 70% of vehicles on the country's roads are paying for their radio licenses, with the remaining number complying with the requirement. This came out during a joint meeting of the Broadcasting Services and Transport Portfolio Committees yesterday. More from Sharon Munjejema.
The National Assembly set to debate the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill tomorrow afternoon. The Transport and Media Portfolio Committees met with Sinara and ZBC to discuss details pertaining a new clause in the bill that mandates motorists to pay for radio license before purchasing a vehicle license. Some legislators are asking if payment of radio licenses is even necessary.
This law, in tandem with the developments that are happening worldwide, is it fair to stick to the fact that in 2000, by then, the role ZBC played in people's lives and the role that ZBC plays in people's lives currently, is it still the same? If yes, then is the route moving? If no, is it necessary to further burden the motorists through this? If we have an amendment, is it not an opportunity to take away that? Why am I saying this? I give myself as an example. I come from Chinhoyi constituency. When I'm in Chinhoyi, my default is Platinum FM.
The Zimbabwe National Road Administration says as of December last year, only 70% of licensed vehicles on Zimbabwe's roads were compliant with the requirement to pay for radio licenses.
A compliance rate of 70%, meaning that of the cars that are on the road, about 70% are compliant. That takes us to a figure which is above 800,000. So currently they come to Sinara or through various agents and they pay for their vehicle license. That's at 31 December with a figure of around 823,000. So that's the figure that we had in December. So whatever it is that you discuss, we always say that we kind of start from that figure.
The national broadcaster says 80% of its revenue comes from car radio licensing, and that the hope is, if this legislation passes, more revenue can be amassed.
We all should actually be happy to say that the burden was just on a few that were compliant, a few that are law-abiding citizens who are currently paying for their radio licenses and TV licenses religiously. And now the law is coming in to make sure that there is fairness, because when laws are passed, I'm sure even you honorables, when you are passing the law and you are saying it's for everyone, everyone should comply, it then would become very unfair if a few are just complying and many are just going scot-free.
The Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill is at committee stage in Parliament, and this clause will be debated in the National Assembly tomorrow afternoon.
So that debate will continue today. And, one of the things that contentious issues for me, and it's something that you sort of picked up on off air, is all well and good. The law is there. You should pay for your TV and radio license. Yeah. But I think in the last few years, we've seen more television and radio stations come up. And for me, I think, and I speak for not only just ZTN or the Zim Papers group, it's hugely frustrating that as much as the law encourages all of us to pay for TV and radio licenses, it's only remitted to the national broadcaster.
Yes, exactly. But what about all the others?
Because not everybody listens or watches the national. You guys are watching it. We don't get nothing. We get zilch. Zero.
Somebody was saying that as well, especially with the radio license. They say they don't live in Harare. They live somewhere else where they can't even get, some of these radio stations. Yet they are being forced to pay for it. Why I say forced is because even if you drive through a traffic block or whatever, and there's the radio license people, you have to pay it. Yeah. They don't even give you a ticket. You have to pay money right there. So it's almost as if, okay, it's hard. Everything in Zimbabwe is just hard. Except for this beautiful show. This is easy.
We love waking up to it. But I think for me, as long as we're compelled to pay whether your TV or radio license, I think there should be a sharing of the pot.
That's it.
I think that's what I'd like
Yeah.
to advocate for, because, I mean, if somebody is in Mutare, for example, they're probably listening to Diamond FM. If they're in
exactly.
Harare, they're listening to Capital. If they're in Chinoi, Platinum FM. If, you know, they are on DSTV, they're watching us
Exactly.
right here. So I think even just when you look at the state of the broadcasting industry and the challenges that the different TV or radio stations face, a lot of it is around capacitation.
Right.
It's around capitalization. So I feel like, yes, national broadcasts are granted, but it then gives them an unfair advantage. And if we're trying to diversify, you know, the media space
Yes.
in terms of the different players, because I can't remember the last time I watched a national broadcaster. Or I listened to any radio station from the national broadcaster. I mean, I'm
You're
sure I'm
being
not.
honest, yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
true.
I'm not
You're
the
the
only
only
one.
one.
But I do listen to radio. I mean, I listen to Star FM. I listen to Time. So I think, and there's people, and there's other radio stations, other TV stations.
Out there.
I hope as the debates continue in Parliament, I think hopefully those issues are raised, and you know, it's not all just going to the national broadcaster.
Yeah.
Konapo, ipapo, ipapo.